Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here, and this is something I thought I would do different for my thoughts videos for once, because yeah, I think this has been something I've been wanting to do ever since this month rolled around, and yeah, oddly enough, I think it's something I thought I would do at the end of each year. So yeah, I guess, believe it or not, before I can begin, let me say this right now. Thank you all so much for actually watching my thoughts videos throughout the course of this year. I have actually done a whole lot of these thoughts videos over the course of 2019, talking about movies and stuff, giving you my full thoughts on them. Yeah. And yeah, I guess, oddly enough, I think you guys actually kept true to that, and I have been making a lot of these over the course of this year, and I'm really excited to see what 2020 will have provided once I start doing these again. So yeah, something I thought I would do something really special for these thoughts videos is pretty much, I know a lot of you guys are wondering, what are my favorite movies from this year? Well, I'm here to answer that question for you. So yeah, I kind of figure for this, I would probably go ahead and share with you a select amount of movies that I have seen over the course of this year that are, of course, my favorite. And yeah, and luckily enough, I have gone through all of them, and of course, based on my own personal thoughts on it, and of course my own experience with these movies, I figure I would put together a whole list on some movies that I really enjoyed the most. So yeah, I figure that's exactly what I'm gonna do for this special video. Now before I begin, I think I need to get a few things out of the way. I think for this list, I'm only going to talk about all the movies that I've seen theatrically, the ones that actually came out in theaters for once. So yeah, I guess if you haven't actually seen my thoughts videos on those movies, I suggest you do so before you start watching this video. So yeah, that would mean that no direct-to-DVD movies and no other stuff that I've seen miscellaneous, like of course the ones I've seen on Netflix and ones on YouTube and plenty of other stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to include these for this list. I'm only gonna dabble into the theatrical movies only for this list. So yeah, and of course another thing that I need to get out of the way is that probably a couple spots that I have on this list. I am gonna throw in a couple of ties in this list for once, because I don't have anywhere to put these movies on my list. So I'm just gonna throw in a couple of ties in there just for safekeeping. So yeah, I figure. So yeah, I think I would probably get those out of the way. So yeah, that's exactly how it's gonna be played out. So I'm gonna be sharing with you my top 10 favorite movies from 2019. So beforehand, before I could get right onto the actual list, I might as well go ahead and show off probably some runners-up real quick, because yeah, I think these are pretty much the ones that you would think they would be my favorites, but they're practically aren't. But I still had a good time with them regardless. So yeah, before we can actually begin the actual list on this one, let's go over the honorable mentions real quick. A League of Battle Angel. Yeah, I guess I know it's kind of odd for me to, of course, put this movie on my list, because yeah, I think it's pretty interesting enough. I still think it's actually a pretty decent flick. I still enjoy all the visuals and whatnot. And of course, I know it's a passion project between Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron, and good on them for them actually pulling this off. And I still think it's actually a pretty decent flick, but I guess if anything, I guess I can give it credit. It's one of the much better live-action anime adaptations. So yeah, I guess there's that. Captain Marvel. Now again, I do think this movie is good, but at the same time, I just don't think it's actually that grand or amazing as plenty of the other Marvel movies that I've seen. But I still respect it for what it's trying to do. I know it's trying its best to actually try to do something different, and good on them if you ask me, but I just don't think it actually grasps me that much, but I still enjoy it regardless. Abominable. Again, I actually really like this movie, hands down, but I don't think it's actually that great, but although I think I do love some of the ideas that they threw in this one, and I do applaud this movie hands down for what it's trying to do, and yeah, good on them for what it's trying to do, and so yeah, I don't think it's really up there in as one of my favorites, but I still enjoy it regardless. It Chapter 2. Yeah, I guess like I said in my thoughts video, I don't think this movie is that bad in my opinion, but I just wish it could have been a little bit more scarier in my opinion, but that's not saying that there are some parts in it that I really enjoy hands down. Like, of course, I still really love James McAvoy as Bill and Bill Hader as Richie, and much like how I felt with the first It movie, I still enjoy Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise regardless, and yeah, I think it's actually really a good time for me to actually see this one, because I think it was actually my first attempt at tackling something that was done by a story by Stephen King for once, and I do applaud this movie for what it is and what it's trying to do. So yeah, couldn't really capture the same amount of energy as the first one, but I still think it's a decent flick regardless. Oh, and speaking of Stephen King from earlier, next one please. Dr. Sleep. Yeah, I actually do like this movie hands down because of what it was trying to do, because I actually like the original Shining, and I think getting to see this one, I think it's actually a really good sequel to it regardless. Like, I really love some of the ideas threw into it, and I really love the callbacks to the original Shining, and I think this movie actually did pay off with what it's doing, and yeah, I do applaud this movie for what it's trying to do. Zombieland Double Tap. Yeah, again, I think it's actually a pretty good sequel, but I just don't think it's actually gotten the right amount of energy as the first Zombieland, because yeah, I guess oddly enough, for a sequel that came out 10 years after the first one, I still think they pulled this one off pretty well, and yeah, I guess I cannot go wrong with that, because yeah, how could I go wrong with, of course, our main characters hanging out in the White House? So yeah, pretty creative idea for the most part, so yeah, I definitely like this one. Harriet. Yeah, I think it's actually a pretty enjoyable flick, but I don't think it's actually probably one of my favorites, but still, I actually really love dabbling a bit to a part of Harriet Tubman's life in this movie, and I think they really paid it off pretty well, and I think everything that they pulled off on this one is incredibly well done, though I couldn't imagine this movie getting controversy for actually using the N-word, hands down, so... But yeah, maybe it's just me talking. And the final runner-up is Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I know this is definitely not one of my favorites, but again, I just think it's actually a pretty decent flick, so yeah, I think if anything, I think I have been following all the Star Wars movies in recent years, hands down, and I think with this movie, hands down, I think it's probably, it's not as bad as plenty of the other films, but it's not really that great either, but it did give us a really satisfying conclusion to the entire saga nonetheless, so yeah, and yeah, I think I really love on how this movie actually tried to do that. It's got some great stuff, great ideas, and yeah, I think if anything, I still think it's a pretty decent flick. So yeah, that's literally what I have to say in that. So yeah, that pretty much takes care of the honorable mention. So now that I got that all out of the way, let's go ahead and get to my actual top 10 favorite movies from 2019. Number 10. The live-action Aladdin remake. Now, yeah, I know my thoughts on this movie is still standing with me. I still have mixed reactions to this nonetheless. But Yeah, and of course I do prefer the original a whole lot more than this film, but I think with what this movie is trying to do, unlike the other live-action Disney remakes that came out this year, this one took a lot more chances than I thought, because, yeah, the more I thought about it later on, since after I saw it, I think this is probably one of the strongest live-action remakes that came out this year, and yeah, I think, oddly enough, I do respect it for what it's trying to do, hands down, and yeah, there are some parts in it that I actually really enjoy, like, I still enjoy Naomi Scott as Princess Jasmine, and to his credit, even though he couldn't top Robin Williams, I still think Will Smith actually makes a pretty good genie, so, yeah. Yeah, and everything else about it, I think some parts of it they did pretty good, while others I just don't think actually work, but yeah, I guess I can be fair here, and of course mention this movie hands down for this one, so yeah. I know we're at the bottom of the list for the most part, but yeah, I guess if anything, I think regardless of my mixed reactions towards it, I still had a good time with it regardless. So yeah, I think it's worthy enough to, of course, put this one on the bottom of the list. Number 9, Jumanji: The Next Level. Now, I knew hands down that when I actually first saw the trailer for this movie, I got pretty hyped for this one, and yeah, because oddly enough, I actually have grown up with the entire Jumanji movies, hands down, and yeah, I think since after I saw it when it first came out, I still think Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle is actually a pretty good movie, hands down, and so I was actually quite curious to see how the next level is gonna pull off on this one, and thankfully, it did do exactly that. I think it's gotten a really good storyline that, of course, furthers on compared to the last movie, and I really love the idea, of course, expanding the entire world of Jumanji since after the first time we actually got in there, and pretty much with, of course, the last one satirizing video games. This one, of course, this one does do a good job in satirizing DLC packs in video games, and of course some stuff that you can unlock, like of course new locations, new characters, and plenty of other stuff. So yeah, I guess about anything, I still had a good time with it regardless, and yeah, I definitely like this movie hands down. So yeah, I think it's safe to say. So yeah, there's literally nothing much else I can say except I actually really like this one. Yeah, not really the best in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it for the same reasons I enjoy Welcome to the Jungle, so yeah, it's worthy enough to be on this list. Number 8, Joker. I just can't get enough of how much I actually enjoyed this movie, so yeah, I think, I guess if anything, I think pretty much the whole idea of giving the Joker, one of the greatest Batman villains of all time, his own origin story, pure genius. So yeah, and oddly enough, for this movie, I think it did do an incredible job with of course doing exactly that. I think I really love on how the origins of the Joker actually came around, and I think this movie did do a fine job, and not to mention, I think it's got some brilliant casting in my opinion, like yeah, believe it or not, I actually really love Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker in this movie, because you actually do see what was going on in his point of view, and actually turn to a life of crime when things get too intense and too emotional for him. So yeah, and I think pretty much, I think I really love how well this movie actually turned out. Pretty much with not only with what it's doing by giving us a full-on origin of the Joker, but I think mainly of how psychological this movie is, and of course it really delved into a lot of pretty much most of mental health, mental health in this movie. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of us have gone through getting some stuff made up in our heads for once. Yeah, and yeah, I think I actually do think this movie actually did do a fine job in doing exactly that. So, but although I couldn't actually imagine if the Joker thinking that that Batman was all in his head. I think it's actually a really good conspiracy theory to, of course, figure out. So, but hey, I'm sure all the puzzle pieces will, of course, get together sometime soon. So yeah, I guess in the end, I actually really enjoyed Joker, hands down. I think this movie is, of course, well worth checking out. So yeah, I guess if anything, I really like this movie. So next one, number 7, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Now, I will definitely get this straight out of the park. I actually really like this movie, hands down. So yeah, I guess if anything, I have been a long-time fan of Pokemon for quite a while now, and I think pretty much getting to see a full-on live-action adaptation of the entire franchise. I think it's actually really ingenious because, yeah, I know there were talks for a live-action Pokemon movie for quite a while now, and thankfully we got it with this movie. So yeah, I think I just really love how well this movie actually turned out. So yeah, sure, story-wise, I just don't think it actually worked from my perspective, but I really enjoy all the characters in this one. I think I actually really love of how visually the entire movie looks from my point of view. And of course, not only that, but getting to see the Pokemon on screen is probably the best use of CGI, hands down. I mean, they don't uglify the creatures in such a way. No, they actually stuck true to, of course, both the games and the TV show. And I think this movie actually did do a really great job in doing exactly that. And of course, I really cannot get enough of Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. Now, I think probably the best way to, of course, show this movie for kids, think of it as probably more like a PG version of Deadpool. So yeah, just imagine Deadpool in the body of a Pikachu, and that's it. So yeah, I guess if anything yeah, I think this actually is starting to show Hollywood that movies based on video games can be good if they're done right, and I think this movie actually did do a really great job in doing exactly that. So yeah, I guess if anything, I actually really like this movie, hands down, not only as an average moviegoer, but also as a longtime fan of Pokemon, hands down. So yeah, I guess if anything, I really like this movie, hands down, and yeah, for a first attempt at a live-action adaptation of Pokemon, they really succeeded on the first try. So yeah, I guess if anything, I could definitely I think I could definitely put this movie on over and over and over again, and it wouldn't make a difference whatsoever. So yeah, that's how much I really like this movie, hands down. So yeah. Number 6, The Lego Movie 2, Angry Birds 2, Frozen 2, and Missing Link. Now, I don't have any reason to, of course, give I shouldn't give a reason at all. I just didn't have the time to, of course, give them individual spots on the list. So I decided to group all 4 of them for this one, hands down, guys. So yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about them individually. So Lego Movie 2. Now, I actually really love how well this movie actually did, because I think it actually does do a fine job, and of course, continuing on where the first movie left off after a couple of spin-off movies that we got earlier, and I think I really love some of the creative ideas with what it's trying to do, and yeah, I guess if anything, for what it has done so far, I think it's actually a really great sequel, hands down. So yeah, now for Angry Birds 2, again, I know I came straight off of seeing the first Angry Birds movie, which I thought was okay at best, but the sequel, however, I actually really like it, hands down, and yeah, much like how I felt about Detective Pikachu, this one, seeing how it was based on a phone app game, I think this one is actually pretty good, and yeah, I really love some of the new ideas. I really love some of the new characters that we got, and yeah, some of the jokes in it actually did get me a good laugh, hands down. So yeah, and so yeah, I guess as always, I actually really like Angry Birds 2. I think it's actually a really good sequel, and it definitely did improve a whole lot since the first film. So yeah, now for Frozen 2, Yeah, again, I have been a longtime fan of the first film, hands down, so I think getting to see how this movie actually turned out, I think I really love some of the new creative stuff with what it's done. Sure, I don't think it's actually has a lot of great value as the first film, but I still actually like it, hands down. So yeah. That's pretty much my sum up on Frozen 2. Now for Missing Link, hands down. Now, I adored the heck out of this movie, hands down. So yeah, I think I'll pretty much I have enjoyed all the Leica films from since after I viewed them all last year, and I think with what this movie has done, I think it actually did do a fine job. I think it's actually got a really great storyline, it's got some interesting characters, and not to mention the animation is still great, hands down, for this only being stop motion and whatnot, and but it's such a shame that this movie turned out to be a box office flop when it first came out. I do feel bad for this movie when I actually found out about this, but I think probably from my perspective, I think this is definitely one of those movies that I think deserves a whole lot more love and support. So yeah, I guess if anything, the movie's currently out on DVD and Blu-ray right about now, so if you got the time, definitely check out Missing Link, and probably give it a lot of love and support, because that's how great this movie is. So yeah, it's pretty much what I have to say. So yeah, I don't have any time to, of course, give all 4 movies their own individual spots, so I might as well group them in for the number 6 spot. So yeah. Number 5, Shazam. Yeah, I guess if anything, we knew we had to go for this movie, hands down. So yeah, I guess if anything, I really love the hell out of this movie, hands down. I think pretty much with what it's been doing for recent years, I think with, of course, with what it's trying to do, I think this movie did doing a really impressive job with what it's trying to do. I think Zachary Levi actually does do a really great job as Shazam, and I think I really love all the other characters as well, and even the villain, I have to say, is incredibly menacing, hands down. So yeah, I think for this being another movie in the DC Extended Universe to actually be great right alongside Wonder Woman, that is actually really impressive. So yeah, I think probably in recent years, I know DC is actually stepping away from trying to do what Marvel is doing and trying to do its own thing without any connecting story, and I think it's actually a really impressive move, hands down. So yeah, I think DC should probably do more of that, hands down, and if they can actually continue doing that, I think they'll be on their way to, of course, putting out some great movies. So yeah, I guess for the case of Shazam, I really love on how well this movie has actually done. I've been super stoked for this movie ever since I saw the trailer for it. When it was first launched at San Diego Comic-Con, and yeah, I think this movie really paid off in the end. So yeah, I guess if anything, what else can I say about Shazam except I love it, hands down. Number 4, Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, I guess oddly enough, we are mainly just gonna shift our way from DC a little bit and focus mainly back on Marvel, hands down. So yeah, I guess if anything, I actually really love this movie. I think with what it was trying to do for this being another Spider-Man movie in the MCU, I think this movie actually did do an impressive job, hands down, because I actually really love the idea of course, Spider-Man going out of his normal territory, which is, of course, New York City, to, of course, travel in remote parts of Europe. And I think I actually really love on how well this movie actually did. So yeah, and of course, as always, I still really love the amount of charm that Tom Holland has put into Spider-Man for this one, and I think I think in the case for this movie, I think he has excuse me. I think he has really grown ever since Homecoming, and of course plenty of other movies in the MCU. So yeah, I guess if anything, I think there's literally nothing else I can say except I actually really love this movie, and I'm really excited to see on what will be coming our way next for Spider-Man in the future of the MCU. So yeah, we'll probably wait and see what happens. But for now, Far From Home, really love it. Next one. Number 3. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I just really love this movie. I don't have any other explanation for saying this, but I guess if anything, I think I do remember as a little kid, I did actually grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on PBS, and yeah, I do find it to be a really impressive show, and I think pretty much what makes it really stands out is, of course, Mr. Rogers himself. So yeah, and I guess if anything, I think I really love on how well this movie actually did do exactly that. Not only capturing the spirit on what makes Mr. Rogers really great, and still to this day, since after his passing. But I really love on how it developed the actual true story between both him and the journalist behind the article that he was featured in. So yeah, I guess if anything, I did get emotional at some parts in this movie because yeah, I think they are done really great. I really love on how well this movie actually did that. But I think what really stands out the most is that I think hands down, Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, probably the best casting decision I have ever seen. I guess if anything, it is practically the best I've seen since he played Disney in Saving Mr. Banks. So yeah, I think I know when I actually see him on screen, I don't see Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers. I'm actually seeing Mr. Rogers as Mr. Rogers. So yeah, I guess if anything, I really love on how well this movie actually did do exactly that. Not only capturing what was great about Mr. Rogers as well as his TV show, but it actually really nailed it out of the park with, of course, a really great story, really interesting characters, and of course, really great ideas thrown into it. So yeah, I guess if anything, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I think it is a beautiful movie to definitely see. Not only for longtime fans of Mr. Rogers, but also, but I can also see little kids of this generation actually see this movie for themselves to actually know about Fred Rogers, just in case they don't know who he is. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm hoping that will probably happen because yeah, I think I guess if anything, I think since after his passing, I knew Mr. Rogers is still continuing on his legacy, and a lot of everyone else that of course work with him. I think I can still see his legacy going on, and hopefully somewhere down in the middle, I'm hoping to of course, look back on the original Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood TV show just to see if it's as good as I remember. So yeah, it's pretty much what I got. So yeah, I guess if anything, I really love A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So yeah, I absolutely love it. Really, definitely, yeah, I think it's definitely worth a few Academy Awards, hands down. Number 2. Toy Story 4 and How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Again, I don't have any reason why I need to put them individually, or I just didn't have time to put them individually, so I've decided to, of course, group them together on this spot on this list, and yeah, I think I would definitely get a lot of hate mail if I don't include those on this list, because, yeah, they're both really great movies, hands down. So yeah, for Toy Story 4, I know a lot of people like me were perplexed on how this movie would actually turned out, because Toy Story 3 actually did end on a perfect note, but I think this movie actually did, of course, it did do it exact. I think it did do a really impressive job in continuing on the story. It's asking ourselves, whatever happened after 3. So yeah, I guess if anything, I really love on how well this movie turned out, because I think it's not only got some really great characters that we still know and love, but I think it actually does dabble into what has been going on since after the last few movies, and yeah. I know I'm not quite certain that they'll do a Toy Story 5, but if this was, of course, the last one that they put out, I think this is, of course, a really great way to, of course, wrap things up in general. So, yeah, same thing can be said for How to Train Your Dragon 3. So, now for this one, I adore the heck out of this movie, because I think very recently I did get a chance to watch the first 2 Dragon movies, and they're all really great. So yeah, I guess in the case for The Hidden World, I think it's actually a really great finale. I just really love on how everything has been built up to all of this, and I think this movie did do a really great job in, of course, ending on a perfect note to, of course, what is, of course, an amazing trilogy, hands down. So yeah, I guess if anything, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, I actually really love it. So yeah, I guess if anything, I don't have any reason to, of course, put these 2 movies on this spot, nor do I have time to, of course, put them individually. So I figure I would group those 2 on this spot on the list. So yeah. And my number 1 favorite movie from 2019 is Avengers Endgame. Yeah, you definitely saw this one coming, didn't you? I know a lot of you guys were of course actually probably of course just typing up in the comments, oh, his number 1 spot is gonna be Avengers Endgame. Now, I do have my reasons why I should put this on the number 1 spot on my list, because if anything, much like what I said about the last spot on this list, I think it's actually a really great send-off to the Infinity Saga and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just really love on how this movie actually turned out, because with what it was doing, of course, I think it actually really nailed it out of the ballpark, and I especially love the idea of course, time traveling to different parts in the MCU, which actually makes it really stand out, but I won't give away any spoilers on what exactly happened in this movie, but I say you'll have to see this one hands down. But yeah, I guess if anything, I think this movie, I really adore this movie hands down. I think it's actually a really great way to, of course, wrap up the entire Infinity Saga right about now, because we have been following through these movies for the past 10 years now, and I think we've actually known and loved all the characters in it hands down. So yeah, I think this is actually a really great epic finale to the Infinity Saga. So yeah, and of course, with plenty of the other movies that we currently got lined up for next year and beyond, I'm really excited to see what the future of the MCU is going to have in store for us, because I am open to new ideas. I really love to see what new direction they're going to be going towards now that the Infinity Saga has concluded. So we'll probably wait and see what happens, but still, I guess if anything, Avengers Endgame, it is, without a doubt, my number 1 favorite movie from 2019. So yeah, that's literally about it. That is, of course, my top 10 list of my favorite movies from 2019. So yeah, I say this is actually a really fun ride, and I think it's actually great to, of course, get this list for all of you guys, just to let you know about some of the ones that I actually really enjoyed. So yeah, I say it's actually a really great way to, of course, close off 2019 right about now. So yeah, I'm actually really excited to see what movies I'm gonna go see for 2020 right about now. But again, I'm not going to reveal what movies I'm gonna go see. You'll just have to wait until my thoughts on each one individually is officially up. So yeah, I guess that's literally about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this special list, and yeah, let me know in the comment section below what your favorite movies from 2019 are, as well as leaving me constructive criticism and or advice on how I can improve my videos in the near future. I would really love to know, so yeah, and of course, as always, feel free to send me an email if you want to email me if you have any questions for me, or if you just want to book me for a con or event that'll be coming up pretty soon. Follow me on my social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and plenty of others that I have provided if you want to keep up to date with me. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more videos like this. So yeah. That's literally about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm really excited to see what 2020 will have in store for us if YouTube will, of course, cooperate with us, hands down. So yeah, we're not going anywhere, hands down. We're still going to continue on making the stuff that we like, so yeah, that's literally all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you in the next video. So yeah, take care.